feel like we need an intro, you know?
You think? You think we need an intro?
I am not creative enough to come up with an intro. Well, maybe we could come up with
Okay.
one right now.
Yeah. And here's your auto advocate. They're there for you.
That's pretty.
Yeah.
You know what? I would watch that.
You're forced to.
You got your mic in the right place today?
I do. I do. I've got it off to, yeah, right here.
How big's
Yeah.
your snowball? My snowball is about this big. Yeah, yeah.
I think I got the same goddamn snowball. Yeah. Yeah. Must be hereditary.
All right. Well, it's definitely hereditary. Here's what I'd like to talk about today, Dad.
Okay.
We got a break from our work. Okay, let's use this as a Zen moment, and
Yeah.
let's talk about something that's not stressful, something that's very fun, something that I think our audience will get a kick out of.
Okay.
How do you go about, and then we'll focus probably a lot on why you go about getting a career in the car business. You spent all your career selling cars, well, selling condoms and then cars, but you can talk about that.
At another point, yeah.
Yeah. My grandfather, his dad owned a vending machine business. Anyway, this is many years ago. But you spent all that time in the car business, right?
Yes.
And we've had some people ask us. And you also, when we first started your auto advocate, I remember I asked you to write about, compensation, like how much money can good salespeople make. So I thought today we'd talk about, the inside aspects of being in a car dealership and why and how people end up in that profession.
Being a professional car salesman.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I can assure you that there's a lot of people that sell cars for a living. There's very few of them are actual professionals at what they do, because so many just aren't willing to put in the time, the effort, and energy to get good at what they're supposed to do, to learn their product, to learn how to treat people the right way, so that they might actually want to buy a car from them.
Yeah.
But a lot of people get roped into the car business because, well, they just think it's going to be an easy way to make a buck. Everybody needs a car, so why don't I go? I like cars. Why don't I go sell cars? And what happens typically is that there's one of two type of people that actually make it in the car business,
Okay.
and that's the person that gets there and bangs their head against the wall and suffers through all the training and the down times and says, I like this. I want to do this. And then there's the other ones that go, this shit ain't for me.
Yeah.
And they leave. Okay. I mean, I had people that I hired that the guy was a computer salesman. He was really good at it, at being a computer salesman. He was really bad at being a car salesman. And the reason he was really bad is because he was used to having accounts where he'd have to see them 6, 7, 8 times before he could actually close them, because he had to go up the chain of command within whatever corporation he was trying to sell computers to. And in the car business, everything is all about, well, how can we make the deal today? How can we make that sale today? And a salesperson who can't grasp the concept of now
Yeah.
usually struggles in the car business.
Sure.
And the most important 3 letters to any automobile salesperson are NOW. Folks, let me ask you a question. What's it going to take to make this happen? I don't know. Now.
Yeah.
And you go in your new car. And truth be told, it takes a certain amount of intestinal fortitude to be able to ask people questions like that,
Sure.
and not be intimidated. But one of the biggest drawbacks to doing automobile sales as a career, and I used to ask potential salespeople this question: how do you feel about being considered the scum of the earth, not because of who you are, but simply because of what you do?
Wow.
Think about that for a second. I mean, you see the comments
No,
on
I do.
our YouTube channel, and they're stealerships, and they're all scum, and they're all this, and they're all, and some of the people that work in the car business can be some of the nicest people you'd ever want to meet, and yet, you know, they're tainted. They're considered really bad people because they sell cars for a living. You know,
Yeah.
kind of like the stigma that some attorneys have.
Yeah.
You know, the old joke. You know, what's the difference between a scum sucking bottom dweller and a lawyer? No, one's a fish.
I gotta tell you, your timing. So,
Yeah.
so my dad tried doing stand up. What year? I mean, how old were you? You must have been what?
This was in the early '80s. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean,
Yeah.
you were in your 30s, I guess.
I would think I probably would have been pretty close. Yeah.
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 And you've shared some incredibly funny stories about your stand up, not because you were funny, but because it was
Well,
fun.
actually, it was hilarious. It's just the audience didn't think so. Okay. What was hilarious was the fact that the flop sweat started developing on my forehead like 3 or 4 seconds into it, and I remember holding a microphone,
Yeah.
okay, and moving my head, but the microphone just stayed in one spot. So basically, the people were getting every third word. It, you know, jokes don't work well when you only get every third word. But we shouldn't digress to that
Okay.
because
Well, the
some
reason.
people take offense to us going 18-minute long videos with, well, I don't know, 8 minutes worth of really good stuff in it.
Is there even 8 minutes? I don't even know if there's 8 minutes. The
I'm not
reason I
sure.
brought it up, your
Yeah,
delivery there was pretty fantastic.
yeah,
Um, and but okay, in all fairness,
yes,
I see a lot of I mean, even my peers. So I'm 24. I
yes,
see a lot of my peers that I go on Facebook every once in a while, and now all of a sudden they're either like a real estate agent or a car salesman, or they went through college and now they're in the
yeah,
entry level role, and I could see how the car salesman role kind of sucks you
yeah,
in the sense that you can start to make good money. I had someone call me.
yes.
He got in touch with me, not a client, just got in touch with me, and he's one of the top 10 Audi salesmen in the country, and
Uh-huh.
he's just turned in 30 years old,
He
and we
makes
were
a lot of
talking,
money.
and he makes $250,000 a year,
Exactly. Yeah,
and I did well in my previous role. I was making good money just as well,
yeah.
and him and I both had this moment of like, it's not the money, where you kind of reach this inflection point, but I could totally see how earlier on before that it's about the money, and you see a way to get there through the car business.
Well, you know, this is a terrible thing to say, but I'm going to share this with you. The reason I got into the car business,
Yeah.
uh, I decided I had had enough of working for my father, filling vending machines, mostly
Yeah.
prophylactic machines, and and I didn't want to do that anymore. And my dilemma was, well, I was getting married in June, and this was April, and you know, I needed something to do, and well, part of the deal was they gave you a demo, and you could sell cars and make money. I didn't know anything. I mean, and the training was pathetic, but
Yeah.
eventually I learned. It was a way to to try and make a living so that I could actually go through with my wedding. And my first wife, who was not your mother,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, um, you know, she preferred, and her family preferred, that, I don't know, I had a job after I or before I said I do. I don't know why they felt that way, but they did.
And I think that's what's so interesting about the fact that you stuck in it for as long as you did, because I think one of the frustrations that a lot of people have is that the same faces are never really at the dealership. Not that any of us are going in nowadays anyway, but
No.
there's a lot of turnover in those sales consultant roles. But then
Yeah.
I've had conversations with you about how much money you can make being a salesperson. Salespeople can out earn managers with ease.
Well,
And
salespeople do, and finance managers do. Yeah.
and the reason I bring up salespeople though is because if you build a book of business, if you become the car guy for
Mhm.
100 people, you have a nice career. But if
I
you, yeah,
I will share a story with you about a gentleman that I used to work with
yeah,
at a single point Pontiac dealership in 1993, 94, 95, maybe, I don't know. And Joe was making $150,000 a year selling Pontiacs at a single point Pontiac store. We didn't have anything other than Pontiacs and used cars. We didn't have GMC truck. We didn't have Buick. We
Wow.
were one of like 21 single point Pontiac dealerships in America at that time. And Joe had a list of all his customers. And when it was slow, Joe would get on the phone and he just called the customers to say hi. And January 1st of every year, he knew he already had 120 to 140 cars sold just from his previous clients before he even said hello to anybody that might have just stumbled into the dealership by accident.
Yep.
Okay, and that's what you do. It's like being in the insurance business. You have a book of business. You keep in touch with your clients. You sell your client a car. You find out when their son or daughter is graduating high school. You sell their son or daughter a car.
And
And it
look at
just
our
goes
most
right
recent
on.
client, right? Like one of our most recent clients, friend of mine, whose son is turning 16.
Yes,
It's not
yes,
hard, you just have to actually care
yeah,
about people.
yeah. Now, the other thing that I always found interesting about people who came in and applied to be a car salesman
Yeah.
um, was they were like a recent college graduate and they couldn't find anything in their field. So they would come in and they'd figure, well, at the very least, I could sell cars. And I would look at them, I go, let me ask you a question, just between you and me. I won't share it with anybody else. What do you think your parents are going to say when they realize that they just spent close to $250,000? So I don't know. You could sell cars for a living. Exactly how proud do you think they're going to be? Is this really the way you want to disappoint your parents? Is it? And they go, well, I just really need a job. Well, I get you need a job, but this isn't the job you just need. This is a job that requires a lot of work and a lot of training and a lot of time. It's not a job for the squeamish. It's not a job for somebody that says, well, I only want to work 8 to 5. Your 8 to 5 in the car business is, well, 9 to 9. Because you might be done at 5, but if you're still with a client trying to get them to buy a car and you don't get them to finally say yes to, I don't know, 7 o'clock at night, and then they have to spend 2 more hours to get the car ready for delivery and all the paperwork, your 9 to 5 day became a 9 to 9 day.
You used
And
to
and
say to
your and
me,
your off days become on days. And it's it's an absolutely miserable way to make a living because it's so time consuming and it's so family destroying.
yeah,
And realistically, all the either mothers or fathers that are in the car business selling cars, the only reason they're doing it is because they want to support their families.
I remember you used to joke, I'd be up early in the morning with you and you'd say to me and Dara and mom, you'd be like, all right, going off for a half day.
Yeah,
And like initially, I always thought, oh, it's like a half day from school, which was awesome because you get home
yeah,
at like 11 a.m.
yeah,
And no, you meant like a 12-hour day at work.
yeah. I was only going to work a half a day that day. Yeah,
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 yeah. So
absolutely.
I know we've joked a lot, you and me, in the past before we started your auto advocate. You always said, don't go in the car business. Whatever you do, don't go in the car business. And I had a really good career and I quit my job and now I'm in the
Yeah.
car business. So your advice to people, we've had some folks ask us about getting started in the car business. Is your advice look elsewhere?
Um, yeah, honestly. If you want to throw away your life, destroy at any chance of real happiness and marital happiness and having real family time, yeah, go into the car business. That'll do it. But if you want to have a job that allows you to find a work-life balance, pretty much the automobile industry isn't it. Now, I know more and more dealerships today are trying to attract a different type of people to sell cars, the college kids and things like that, by offering more of a work-life balance. Until push comes to shove, and then they would tell their salespeople, forget about your life, just work. It's it. Listen, I had a great time doing what I did, and I got paid rather well for having a lot of fun doing what I was doing. But it's a miserable, miserable way to make a living, between mistakes that happen, between customers that get upset. And sometimes they're upset at nothing, but they're upset. And having to deal with that. And it's just, it wears you down. I've told you this, that as a sales manager, um, the average age of death for a sales manager in the automobile business is like 54. Okay, I'm going to be 69 this month. I'm already living on borrowed time based on what I did for a lifetime. Um, if you, I mean, I took it seriously, but I joked about it. I didn't take it so seriously that I developed ulcers, or that I was going to let it kill me.
Yeah.
Um, but it requires a tremendous amount of commitment. And truth be told, most people today don't have the level of commitment that it takes to really be successful at it.
And I think we also then, and I think that's really eloquent and well said, that I think we see that lack of commitment then permeate into your interactions with the dealership, which then perpetuates this terrible experience that customers have with the dealership.
Oh
The
yeah,
people there feel overworked and don't really care, and there's a lot of staff turnover. And the few that do care, it's not like there's enough hours in the day for them to make things right.
no,
It's really challenging. I mean, I have probably on a daily basis, and I know you do too, 30 to 45 phone calls with car dealerships. Um, and you
yeah.
get some people that, yeah,
Could you think of better things you could do with your time than talking on the phone to 35 or 40 different people in car dealerships?
yeah, you're damn right I could, of course. But
Yeah,
it's what you do to service your customers, and I think that's something I inherited from you, is this commitment that if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. If we're building a
yeah,
business, and our business is to service our customers.
yes,
But you run into so many personalities on these phone calls, so many people that do want to help, but then so many people that they're going to leave next week, so they don't really fucking care.
yeah. No, it's a tough business. When I worked for the Penske organization, one of the big things in that organization was to really cut down on staff turnover, and turnover is really big on the sales side of things. And so we adopted what I called the love the one you're with way of doing things. If you hired somebody, it meant you saw something in them.
Yeah.
And if you weren't reaching them the first 3 months or 6 months or 9 months, well, that's on you. You as a manager have to figure out what you're doing wrong, because you saw enough in them to hire them. So you love the one that you're with. You figure out how to get through to them. You figure out how to help them. You figure out how to keep them on your staff so they can become productive, professional salespeople. And most dealerships, the managers aren't going to do that. They'd rather bitch and moan about their salespeople. Oh, he doesn't get it. He's weak. He's weaker than circus lemonade, and let's get rid of him. You can't. It's not like everybody's disposable. You have to work with people, and some people it takes a little longer than others. But it's you get out what you put in. So as a manager, if you're willing to invest in your staff, you'll get something out of it. If you're not, you won't. It's pretty simple.
Yeah. I think it applies across the spectrum, not just the car business, but we see it a lot in the car business, which makes it so tough. So long story short, you heard it here first. I already made the mistake of going into the car business.
I tried.
Yeah, I
Didn't
still
listen to
wonder.
me.
I still wonder if mom would be proud or disappointed. I'm like very conflicted. I think she'd be proud. I think
I think mom would be both.
yeah,
She would have been both. She would have been proud of you for starting your own business, and she would have been conflicted that you were silly enough to choose the automobile business to try and disrupt.
yeah, yeah. Well, and if you're thinking about starting your career in the car business, if that's a thought that's been going through your head, you should probably really think deeply about that before you make any type of decision, because like as you've said, Ray, it's a big commitment.
Yeah, go to trade school, as my father would have said. Become a plumber. You can always have a job.
All right, pops. I'll see you next time.
Okay, maybe tomorrow.
We doing it tomorrow?
I don't know. I just whatever you tell me to do.
All I'll see you.
I'm here for you.
Appreciate you.
Uh,